Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Learner Podcast. I'm Anna, and today we're talking about something most people deal with but don't always love, going to the bank.
And I'm Tom, and let me tell you, banks always make me feel like I need a manual just to stand in line.
I know, you go in thinking I just need to deposit money, and suddenly you're staring at 10 different counters, 5 machines, and a confusing array of forms.
Exactly. And don't even get me started on the tickets. You take a number, sit down, and then you watch people cut in line like it's some kind of game.
And you end up sitting there trying to look calm while secretly wondering if you'll ever reach the counter.
One time I tried to use the ATM, and somehow my card got stuck. I spent 10 minutes apologizing to the machine.
Classic Tom. I had a similar experience trying to deposit a check. I thought I was being smart by using the self-service machine, and then it refused the check because apparently I folded it slightly.
Folded slightly? Who knew a fold of 2 millimeters could cause a banking apocalypse?
And the tellers, they're always so serious, like they can sense your panic before you even speak. I once smiled at a teller and she just stared at me like I told her I was planning to rob the bank.
I do that too. I try to make small talk. Nice weather today, huh? And they just nod like I just insulted them.
The funniest part is when you try to ask for help. You say, "Excuse me, can you help me with this form?" And suddenly it's like you've asked them to solve world hunger.
And you stand there holding your pen, unsure where to write anything, while they explain in words that sound like they're speaking another language.
I remember one time I needed to open a new account, and the teller asked me for my ID, proof of address, a reference, and my favorite color. Okay, maybe not the last one, but it felt like it.
Oh, I know that feeling. And then they hand you forms with tiny boxes, and you need a magnifying glass to read half of them.
And don't forget the security questions. What is your mother's maiden name? Which school did you go to? What was your first pet's name? And you're standing there like, I don't remember if it was Fluffy or Fluffington.
Or worse, I don't even remember if I went to that school.
Then you finally get your turn at the counter and someone comes running, waving their number, and suddenly you're like, was my number eaten by a black hole?
And while you wait, you start noticing all the other people. There's always someone with a ridiculously long stack of coins. How do they carry them?
Or that one person who's taking forever to count the bills and you just want to scream, it's a $20 bill, not a treasure map.
And children. Don't get me started on kids at banks. One kid running around while the parent is frantically trying to fill out a form, you know it's chaos waiting to happen.
I once witnessed a toddler try to deposit coins into the wrong slot, and the machine ate them like a hungry monster.
That's terrifying and hilarious at the same time.
And ATMs outside are another story. Sometimes you press a button, it freezes, and you stand there panicking, hoping it's not going to eat your card.
Or you try to withdraw cash and suddenly it only gives you $5 bills. Who wants $55 bills?
And don't forget the forms you need to fill out if you want a new card. You sit there thinking, I just want a card, not a PhD in banking.
Yes, and the pens never work. You press down and nothing happens, and then you borrow one from the counter and it's also broken.
And then there's that one teller who asks, would you like a receipt? And you stare at them like, do I want a receipt? I don't even know what just happened.
I always say yes because I'm afraid of some mysterious future problem.
And signing things. You sign, and each time you think, am I actually agreeing to sell my soul?
Sometimes it feels like it, yes.
One of my favorite moments, though, is when you finally get everything done and walk out like you just ran a marathon.
I know that feeling. You step outside, breathe deeply, and think, I survived the bank.
And then you realize you forgot your card or some document inside, and you have to go back.
That's the cruel twist. You get a second chance to practice patience.
And even though it's stressful, there's something oddly satisfying about leaving the bank having completed all your tasks.
Yes, it's like a small victory. You conquered forms, machines, and humans, all in one trip.
And honestly, it gives you stories to tell. Every trip to the bank could be a little adventure.
Absolutely. From ATMs to tellers, children running around, long queues, confusing forms, and tiny pens, every visit is an experience.
And even when you think you're just going to deposit a check, it turns into a mini drama.
That's what makes it memorable. Every trip has its funny moments and challenges.
Okay, so after surviving the first part of the bank experience, the next part is usually the real challenge. Interacting with the teller for something more complicated than a simple deposit.
Oh yes, like opening a new account or applying for a loan. Suddenly, you're thrust into a world of questions, documents, and tiny print you can't read without a magnifying glass.
And you try to act confident, right? Like, yes, I know what I'm doing, while secretly thinking, do I need 3 forms of ID? Is my proof of address good enough?
Exactly. And there's always that moment when they ask something you weren't prepared for, like, what is your source of income? And your brain goes blank.
Or they ask you to fill out a form that looks like a crossword puzzle with no clues. You spend 10 minutes staring at it, wondering if it's even in English.
And while you're struggling, there's someone behind you tapping their foot, sighing, making you feel like a criminal for taking too long.
Or someone sneezes and you jump because you're already stressed. Every tiny sound feels like an alarm.
And then comes the signature part. You sign, you check, you sign again, and then they ask for another signature. By the end, your hand is exhausted.
Don't forget the, would you like to set up online banking question? And you say yes because you don't want to seem clueless, but then you realize you have no idea how online banking works.
Oh yes, and the security questions that follow. What was your first pet's name? What was your favorite teacher's name? And you're like, do I make it up or do I remember? What if I forget later?
Then there's the fun part where you try to understand fees. You nod politely while they explain, but your brain is like, I have no idea what just happened.
And the ATM card. Sometimes they hand it to you and you're afraid to even touch it because you feel like it's a tiny treasure that could get eaten or lost.
And if you need cash, there's always the moment at the ATM where you push the wrong button and the machine asks you, would you like to cancel? And you panic.
Or worse, the machine gives you a different amount than you asked for. You stand there confused while others in line start judging your confusion silently.
And then the next challenge is making a transfer. You try to remember the recipient's details, and if you misplace one number, the money could go anywhere.
Exactly. That one time I entered a digit wrong and panicked, thinking my money had gone to some random stranger.
And then there's the online component. They hand you a phone or tablet, and you think, oh, this will be easy. But it's like stepping into a different universe of apps, passwords, and codes.
And when they ask, do you want a receipt emailed or printed? You pause like it's a life-altering decision.
And let's not forget the tiny things that go wrong, like the pen running out of ink right when you need it. Suddenly, signing your life away becomes a major challenge.
And you borrow a pen from the counter, which works, but it writes so badly, you wonder if the bank will accept your chicken scratch.
And then comes the conversation with the teller, which sometimes turns into a small comedy show. You try to explain what you want, and they ask clarifying questions that make you feel like you're in a courtroom.
Or like that time I asked for a deposit and the teller asked, cash or check? And I froze, forgetting I had both.
And while you decide, someone behind you sighs loudly, making you feel guilty for existing.
Then there's the moment you finally complete the transaction and you step back with a mixture of relief and pride.
Until you realize you left your card on the counter or forgot your receipt. Panic mode activates.
That's when you sprint back to the teller, trying not to trip over your own feet, all while praying you don't knock over someone else's paperwork.
And everyone in line watches you, probably thinking, why is this person acting like a spy?
But at the end, there's always that tiny victory, holding your documents, your card, your cash, and feeling like you just won a medal.
And the funny thing is, after all that stress, you tell your friends about it like it was an epic adventure.
Yes, like, you won't believe what happened at the bank today.
And they nod, pretending they know the struggle, but secretly they're thinking, I've never been that dramatic.
And that's the beauty of banks. They turn everyday tasks into little stories you remember and laugh about later.
From queues, forms, tellers, machines, and mysterious fees, each visit is a tiny adventure waiting to happen.
And every challenge has its humorous side, even if it doesn't feel funny at the time.
Yes, and somehow, once you survive, you feel like you can survive anything from complicated forms to stressful lines.
And the small wins, like finally getting the right amount from the ATM or successfully signing every form, feel amazing.
And then you leave the bank, breathe deeply, and laugh at everything that went wrong.
And maybe even plan your next trip there, knowing full well it will be another adventure.
And in the end, banks teach patience, problem solving, and a weird sense of humor you didn't know you had.
Plus, they give us stories to share, laughter to look back on, and survival skills we didn't realize we were building.
And then there's the moment when you try to use a self-service kiosk inside the bank, thinking it will make everything faster.
Oh yes, and 10 minutes later, you're still staring at the screen, pressing buttons, and wondering if it's broken or if you just don't understand it.
And every time it asks for verification, your brain freezes. Like, enter your PIN, and you type it wrong the first 3 times.
And then the machine politely yells at you with that little beep, like it's judging you.
Meanwhile, someone behind you sighs again, giving you that "you're wasting my time" energy.
And you nod nervously, hoping they don't notice that your panic is slowly growing.
Then comes counting coins at the coin counter. That machine sounds like it's possessed sometimes.
Yes, and it eats some coins and spits others out, and you're there thinking, do I start over or fight it?
And the teller has to come over and help while you apologize 100 times because you feel guilty for using their time.
And somehow during all this, someone in line asks you for help because you seem like you know what you're doing.
And you panic even more because you do not know what you're doing, but now you have to look confident.
You give vague advice like, maybe press that button? And they nod, completely trusting you.
And then you step away, realizing you've just accidentally trained another lost soul on the bank's confusing system.
And the next challenge is using the deposit envelope. You try to stuff it with bills, but some keep folding awkwardly or sticking out.
And then you panic, thinking the machine will eat it, and you shove it in like a wild animal fighting prey.
And the teller calmly reassures you that it will be fine, but your heart is racing.
Or when you deposit a check and the signature line doesn't match, and they give you that questioning look.
And you scramble thinking, did I sign it wrong? Is this illegal?
And the teller smiles and says it's fine, but you still panic internally for 3 minutes.
Then let's not forget about trying to understand bank statements or account summaries.
Yes, you look at the numbers and fees and your brain turns into spaghetti.
And you nod along like, ah yes, very clear, while secretly thinking, why are there so many numbers?
And someone asks you if you understand and you lie, yes, completely, while hiding your confusion.
And then you leave thinking, next time I'll just do everything online, until reality hits and online banking is confusing too.
And all of this while keeping track of your documents, ATM card, coins, bills, receipts, and forms. It's a full workout.
Honestly, I think banks secretly designed this to make you feel like a multitasking superhero.
Yes, a superhero with shaky hands, panic in their eyes, and a nervous smile.
And the funniest part is when you try to organize all your papers before leaving, and they slip out of your hands, scattering everywhere.
And everyone around you watches like, wow, look at this chaos. And you bow awkwardly while picking everything up.
And then there's the moment when you realize you've forgotten something important like an ID or a passbook, and you have to go back inside.
And you stand there by the door debating if you should just leave and deal with it later or go back and face the staff again.
And then you go back, head down, muttering apologies like a student caught sneaking candy in class.
And while you're inside, someone asks for your help again because you suddenly look like a banking expert.
And you give directions with confidence, even though 5 minutes ago you were panicking over a $20 deposit.
Then comes the ATM line outside. It's always a mix of impatience and curiosity. Someone taps you on the shoulder and asks you, "Do you know how to use this machine?"
And you have to pretend you're a pro, even if your last visit included hitting every wrong button possible.
And then the machine eats someone else's card, and you silently think, "Welcome to the club."
And finally, there's the long walk back to your car or home carrying coins, receipts, and forms, thinking, was that really just a 10-minute trip?
By the end of it, you feel like you've been through a day-long obstacle course.
And somehow you can't wait to tell someone the story because it's just too ridiculous not to.
And all the small victories, the teller being nice, the envelope going in smoothly, the coins counted correctly, feel like winning a gold medal.
And the minor disasters, the forgotten ID, the machine errors, the lost coins, turn into the funniest stories later.
Yes, and even the weirdest moments, like standing in line behind someone who talks on the phone the whole time, become part of the memory.
And the next time you go, you notice things you didn't know before, the friendly staff, the helpful machines, the small quirks, and even the way the sunlight hits the lobby.
And all those little observations make the experience feel more human and oddly satisfying.
You even start to appreciate the small victories even more, like the ATM giving you exactly the amount you asked for.
And surviving the chaos somehow makes you feel like a champion every single time you leave the bank.
Plus, the stories you collect? Priceless. You tell them to friends, laugh about them, and secretly hope they experience the same kind of funny stress.
And even though it's stressful, confusing, and sometimes embarrassing, there's something oddly exciting about going through the process and coming out victorious.
You start to see the adventure in every little banking trip. The lines, the machines, the staff interactions, everything.
And you notice how even small interactions, like a teller helping you quickly or a security guard giving directions, make the experience richer.
And every tiny mishap, like pressing the wrong button, dropping coins, or misunderstanding instructions, becomes a story to tell later.
So the next time someone says, "Let's go to the bank," you feel a mix of dread, excitement, and curiosity all at once.
And secretly, a little thrill, because you never know what funny or unexpected moment is waiting for you inside.
And by the time you leave, your brain is full of small victories, little laughs, and new memories you didn't anticipate.
Yes, going to the bank is more than a chore. It's a tiny adventure, a puzzle, and a comedy all rolled into one.
And that's why, even if it's stressful at first, it ends up being one of those experiences you remember and laugh about for weeks. And after all that, there's always the walk back outside, where you finally feel free, like you survived some kind of mini adventure course.
Yes, that moment when you step into the sunlight and your bag is lighter, your wallet is organized, and you feel like a champion.
And somehow, you also start planning your next visit, thinking, next time I'll be faster, smarter, more prepared.
But then you remember last time and you laugh because, let's be honest, nothing ever goes exactly as planned.
And those little surprises, the funny mistakes, the small victories, they're all part of the story you tell later.
Yes, like the time I spilled coins everywhere and pretended it was a magic trick.
Or when I accidentally dropped my deposit envelope and a kind stranger helped me pick it up.
Or that moment when the ATM decided to eat my card and I had to explain the whole story to the security guard like I was confessing a crime.
Oh, yes. And you were sweating and panicking while I was standing there laughing at your "I'm guilty but innocent" face.
And somehow, in the middle of that stress, you notice the tiny things like a kid dancing in line behind you or someone humming a song you like.
That's true. It's funny how even a routine errand can feel like a small adventure if you pay attention.
And banks have their own kind of humor too. Like the signs that say, "Please wait here," but the line moves so slowly you could take a nap and wake up just in time to reach the counter.
Or when the teller asks you questions like, Do you want a receipt? And suddenly, it feels like you're answering life or death questions.
And you panic over small things like choosing the wrong deposit envelope color or accidentally pressing the wrong button on the ATM.
Or when you think you've counted your coins correctly and the machine disagrees, then you stand there thinking, did I miscount or is the machine broken?
And of course, everyone in line is watching like you're performing a coin counting show.
Or that awkward moment when someone sneezes and you realize you've been holding your bag in the sneeze zone and you panic about germs.
Meanwhile, I'm always the one knocking my pen over while signing forms, which somehow leads to a small chain reaction of papers falling.
And the teller gives that polite smile like it's okay, happens all the time, and you just laugh nervously.
But the little conversations you have make it memorable. Like when you ask someone how to fill out a form and they give you a story about the last time they were at the bank.
Or when someone shares a tip about how to avoid fees, and you feel like you just got insider knowledge.
And sometimes you see other people struggling and it makes you realize we're all in the same boat.
Exactly. And even waiting in line can become a mini game, like spotting the person with the most colorful bank card or the tallest stack of paperwork.
Or trying to guess what people are depositing or withdrawing. Totally harmless, of course, just for fun.
And every small victory counts, like finally finishing your transaction, walking away and realizing, yes, I did it without losing my mind.
Or discovering a new feature on the ATM you didn't know existed, like how to set up mobile alerts or print a mini statement.
And sharing that with someone else in line feels like a small secret you both know now.
And sometimes the trip inspires a little spontaneity, like grabbing a coffee afterward or walking through a nearby park to reward yourself.
Or taking a small detour to a shop you never noticed before and finding a little treasure.
And then telling each other, see, going to the bank isn't so bad, while laughing at everything that went slightly wrong.
Those are the moments that turn boring errands into little stories you remember.
Absolutely. And you realize it's not just about the money. It's about the people, the interactions, the unexpected moments.
Exactly. And for our listeners, we hope this makes you see that even a trip to the bank can be funny, human, and surprisingly interesting.
And if you enjoyed joining us for this episode, we'd love your support.
That means subscribing to the podcast so you never miss an episode.
Sharing the episode with a friend or family member who might need a laugh, learn some English, or just relate to our little adventures.
And leaving a comment telling us your funniest, weirdest, or most unexpected bank story. We read them all and they always make us smile.
Your stories make this podcast feel like a shared adventure where we all laugh, learn, and survive errands together.
So thank you for spending time with us today.
And remember, every visit, every line, every little mishap is part of the journey.
Keep laughing, learning, and sharing your experiences with us.
We'll see you in the next episode.